everyone, this is Raven here with another Total War breakdown for the Throg campaign Let's Play that CA just released today. As always guys, I'm sorry about my microphone. I will be investing in a new one pretty soon, and hopefully you'll get rid of that grainy sound that I always have when I'm talking and any kind of like overriding static that I kind of get whenever I talk. So trying to minimize that today by talking a little bit softer so you can kind of enjoy this Let's Play as we go through it. So no battles, just auto resolves, but lots of good information. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what we can find out for y'all today. So just the initial trailer reveal, of course, right there, the little title screen, and then he's just gonna be talking about Throg. So let's skip forward a little bit. So right here he reveals the buff that you get as the when playing Throg as Norsca. So you get a plus 10 physical resistance for all Norse control and Norscan ice troll units. Excuse me. And then all units in his army are immune to attrition, so kind of like a Durthu for the Wood Elves, you don't suffer attrition no matter where you go. And then minus 15% upkeep for the Norse Control and Norscan Ice Troll units, so very good stuff right there, not bad. And then I'm going to go ahead and let this little fog go away at the top. So at the top in the middle you can see a skull surrounded by 4 bars with a serpent's head, a crow, an eagle, and a wolf. Oop, he went by a little bit too fast. A serpent's head, crow, eagle, and a wolf. God dang it. You know what? Well, you just know it's there. Just keep an eye out for it. He's just taking a look at the map real quick. So right here, he's just taking a look at the income. So, of course, they are a raiding faction. So their main income will not be from settlements. It'll be from raiding and war, raising, sacking, stuff like that. So most of their money will be from battles rather than having a steady flow of economy. However, they do have a single building in each of their cities. When fully upgraded, will provide a income of 300 gold per turn, or resources, whatever it's actually called. Not quite sure. So um, that's pretty much all that you're going to be learning here. So I'm going to continue ahead. And then he's just talking about the Bretonnians down here in the south coming to fight him, and then the war he's currently at with the Kislevites, and then the Norscan faction here remaining under Wulfric the Wanderer's control that he's going to try and take out. So as I explained before, that when you fight a faction leader of any other opposing race or nation in this game, if you kill them, you have an extremely high chance of confederating them. Of course, this only applies to Norscan, so not every other race. Excuse me, just for the Norscan race. But if you fight any of the other factions under Norsca, and you slay their leader in combat, then pretty much the next turn you can make a peace treaty with them and immediately confederate them. So here's that copious vomit ability, and then he's gonna reveal some very interesting things over time through his 2 heroes as well that I'd like to take a look at, and for his Marauder Chieftain whenever it comes up. So a little bit more basic for Throg, for his Legendary Lord. As you can see, though, he does have a what is this, magic missile attack. Only has a 100-meter range, though, so I feel like it's either going to be kind of like the Arrows of Kurnos, or the ability that Durthu has, which is essentially an Arrows of Kurnos, but it instead of homing in and becoming a tighter projectile the further it goes and dealing damage to one single spot very accurately, I feel like it's going to be the kind that, like, when he shoots it, it's just going to spread out the further it goes. So I feel like this is the ability, the closer you are to somebody, the better it's going to be, which is exactly how Durthu's ability plays out for his little magic missile. Because if you shoot somebody like a Manticore, like a Pharaoh Manticore, getting shot point blank by Durthu as he's smacking it down, it's pretty much going to be like an instant kill. It's very powerful. So hopefully this is actually going to be a pretty strong skill. So as you can see, he does have some abilities here to buff up his troll units. So we have Frostbitten, and then we have the other ability. He's going to come back and highlight them in a second. And then King of the Trolls, minus 10% upkeep for the Norse controls, and plus 2 public order for local province. So that's pretty cool. So let me see if I can go back a little bit and show these abilities. If he'll get off that one for a second. So Icy Wrath and Frostbitten provides charge bonus and melee attack and melee defense for all troll units in his army, as well as Famir warriors. So those reptilian single-eyed guys that we've been seeing quite a bit. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. Let's take a look. Keep going here. So he's going to talk about here how he, when he raids settlements or attacks them or whatever, he's able to sacrifice them or gain money from them. So I'm actually just going to let him do the explaining for it. He does it quite nicely, and well, he's also kind of quiet and a little bit slow. So we're just going to go ahead and skip forward just a little bit. Back up to exactly where the screen is. So right here, we can see occupy, of course, is just your regular occupy. Typically, I think I would sack a city and then occupy it because I just want that money. Because if I unpause it, you can see that he is in a deficit of money right now of minus 2,578 per turn. So I would sack a city and then probably occupy it because it still is in Norsca, and I wouldn't want to lose anything. So as you can see here, you have 4 options: race for the hound, race for the crow, race for the eagle, race for the serpent. The hound is corn. The crow is Papa Nurgle. Over here, the eagle is going to be Zinch for the changer of ways, and then for the serpent, it's going to be the indulgent Slanesh. So that's just something to keep in mind. Um, it doesn't actually provide any boons quite yet until you start building up these little pips right here. You can see 3 pips on these 4 bars. And so as you go through the game, the more you sacrifice for these cities into a certain god's favor, the more that you, and as you can see, every time that you sacrifice to a certain god, you lose favor in each of the other god's favor. So it's going to be kind of hard to balance going up in each one. You would actually just remain stagnant. So you will have to dedicate to one god. You can't just go hound, crow, eagle, serpent, hound, crow, eagle, serpent over and over and over, or you'll just lose all the faction you gain every single time because you lose 2 and you gain 6. So if you want to dedicate yourself to 2 gods, that's probably possible, but it'd be a little bit harder. But if you're just like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna go Korn and Nurgle, and that's it, that's fine. You can totally do that. So right there, he went in favor of the serpent right there because it gives him 10%. What was it? Recruitment. Let's see. Minus 10% upkeep for all units of all forces, and plus 5 ranks for any lord recruited in any province, which is absolutely insane. And then also here at the bottom, you can see Tier 3, a specialist, Chaos Sorcerer. Kihar, the Tormentor, will be recruited to fight for your faction. So he's going to go over each of these 4 bars up here at the top, and it's going to have a little drop-down icon of what they mean. And it's going to have a special bonus for every single one of the gods once you reach that Tier 3. And so we'll go ahead and take a look when he goes up to it. Take a look at it. Come on, guy. I can't do it without you here. It's a team game. Homie, why are you doing this to me? Alright, well, I could have sworn that he did it, but if not, that's fine. So, anyways, if you go for Zinch instead of the serpent or whatever, so if you go for the crow, the eagle, after a while you'll eventually be granted a changer of ways. I believe that's what they're called. The greater demons of change, whatever. The for Zinch, so you'll get that greater demon. Basically, Sarthoriel, the Everwatcher, will come fight for you. And then if you go for Korn, he actually blurted out. He said that you're going to get a unique unit, but we'll have to talk about that at a later time. So if I'm seeing a changer of ways come out of the Zinch faction, which we already have for that greater demon, excuse me, I had a little burp right there. If we take a look at Korn, I bet that we're probably going to be seeing a freaking greater demon of Korn come out. So Bloodthirster, I believe that's what they're called. So that would be pretty interesting. And then for Papa Nurgle, I can't quite remember what. Oh yes, if it's Nurgle, it says that a plague shall be unleashed on the world, but your armies will be granted immunity to it. So just something, a little minor details right here to notice is that the colors change for these lines. So keep an eye on what you're doing because the initial movement is still that yellow line, but instead of red for your next turn, what it takes to move somewhere for your next turn being red, it's blue. So I'm not sure what all the different color schemes are going to be for Norsca, or if the color schemes are going to change for everybody going through their different turns. So that's just kind of like a little cool thing. But also something to notice here is he just moved. He has no movement left, and then he's going to go ahead and change to the raiding stance, which takes absolutely no movement. You have no movement penalty to be able to do that. And so this is going to be really good for getting through territories with lots of attrition, like if you're moving through vampire count territory, if they take over lots of the empire settlements, just moving your army at a normal pace through them, and then at the very end being like, okay, switch to raiding. I'm gonna have to stop here for a moment. So you still get that income, you still have that immunity to attrition, but you don't replenish any of your units, but you're able to gain some money every single time you do it. So that's very, very, very handy because a lot of factions either once you go into like the raiding stance, you can't move, or if you go into the raiding stance, you lose 50% of your movement capabilities. So this is very nice, being able to move the full speed and then raid at the very end. So good stuff there. Good stuff there. So he's talking about Erengrad. That's the home city for Throg, the Troll King. So he's going to be talking about trying to come back and capture this because it has a special building there, the Cave of the Stone Throne or something like that. And it provides some good buffs for the army. So just something to have. And then right here, Austin starts waging war over here on him, even though he's only taking a couple cities from the race of man. But over here, he's taken all these Norscan cities. He's confederated everything. So something to note is that if we look at the turn wheel right here, this is only turn 33, and as of right now, he owns every city except for the Longship Graveyard, where Wulfric the Wanderer currently sits. And as soon as he fights Wulfric, if he wins, he could confederate the rest of the Norscan factions, and he'll own all of Norsca, and that'll be on turn 34, which is insane. You're gonna own all of the North essentially in 34 turns or less, depending on how fast you are at playing this game or how good you are. So I'm not saying that he's a bad player or anything like that. I just don't know how he started off. He had a rocky start or a good start, whatever. So it might be faster or slower depending on what happens. But good stuff to know. So right here, quest successful, build the plunder hall. He has one in this city, so plus 1500 treasury. So good stuff there. 3 ice troll units. If you took a look at his army earlier, it already had 3 ice troll units. So next turn, he'll actually get that that extra money for those 3 ice troll units. So right here, he talks about he shows off a new resource. Let me go right here and let him pause on it, and so we can take a look at it. Oh, he actually didn't. Oh, yes, he actually did. It's on the left side. So let him play and pause. So right here, obsidian, carved obsidian is going to be a new resource in the game. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more resources added other than just obsidian, but very good that the Norscans actually have something that they can trade with other races or other factions that they come across or between themselves. So obsidian's pretty cool. I'm not sure exactly what in the lore obsidian's supposed to do for them. Maybe it's made into armor or something like that. I'm not quite sure. I don't know anything about the resources and how they're used in the Warhammer world. I never really cared to learn about that. But it might be something I'll look up for you guys later on, or and I'll just announce it during my next video or something like that. So keep taking a look, and he's just taking a look at the building chains he has here. So quite a high tier building over here for the 4th tier of his settlement, going up to 5. So he's able to get those Pharaoh Manticores. But if you take a look over here, they cost 425 each, which is essentially like a single Terrorgeist. And then that's not even the top tier. So I'm expecting these other mammoths to be super expensive. And right here, you can take a look. It's I feel like this is on large unit size now. So holy shit, 12,207 HP. Wow, that's it's gonna be a lot of HP, guys. That's I don't know if they're gonna want to tweak that or not, because that's just overwhelming. That's like a giant and a half. That's literally it's if you were to look at it in terms of how much it would cost a greenskin to fill this, it would take a giant and a half worth of HP to do that. So like 2,400 resources in terms of giant costs. And so this is just one big old shield to throw into the enemy, but it just does so much damage on top of that. Oh god. These mammoths are gonna be a terror to fight. I feel bad for dwarves. I could get fucked by them so hard. Alright, here you can see the Slaver's Camp. 300 income per turn. Income from raiding plus 10 faction wide. Income from sacking settlements plus 5 faction wide. So, good stuff. It would be a good idea, I think. I love to build at least one income building in every single settlement. So, maybe not here at the Altar Response because they do have a port, or the Winter Power because they have a port as well. So that'll provide more money in the long run than a Slaver's Camp would. So places like that, I wouldn't really want to put one in because I like to build defensive chains. So I like to have a fort wherever I go typically, and then I like to build up my main building as much as possible, and then like one support building or something just to try and boost the population public order. So probably wouldn't have any room for it here, but just so you know, that's your only building that provides money, but some of the others might provide bonuses to rating and other stuff like that, so that's something to keep an eye on. And then also when he ends this turn right here, we're going to see one of his technologies finish, and then it's going to be some very interesting stuff coming out of that too. Over here, moving Throggin, and he's going to go ahead and set him to the rating stance, get some more money, because as you know, like I said, the Norsca faction does not have good income, minus 1216 now because of all the rating he's doing. Right here, he's just damaging a building so that the Wolfric the Wanderer army can't replenish or gain any units from, well, they can still replenish, but slightly less if they have units related to that chain now. And they can no longer recruit units from that building chain, so just trying to prevent them from getting even bigger so he can take out the city before he has to like wait even longer and not be able to do it in this Let's Play. And then over here, he's gonna have this guy, so this is actually the Skin Wolf heroic unit. This guy looks pretty badass, got bones and leathers all over him, so a little bit more exalted looking than your typical Skin Wolf, just pretty bare bones in terms of what they wear and stuff like that. So very cool stuff coming out of him, very interesting concepts. I wonder too of what he's going to be able to do on the battlefield compared to the other wolves, so very excited to see him play. As of right now though, he looks more as looks to be more of the skilled assassin type of character, as he is doing the assassination type of missions, whereas the other one was doing assaults and destroying buildings, things like that. So, interested to see how this pans out. Typical hero chains, and then you can kind of see how the Beastmen have it. You can focus either on attack, or you can focus on being more tanky and getting armor. So, after you put 3 points into this either one of these two traits right here, you gain an augment for using in battle. So these are just constantly active. As you can see, it's a concept, but it only affects yourself, and then barely affects allies in range with a 30-meter radius. So um, vicious assault. I'm not sure what the passive ability vicious assault is, but oh, down here. I'm sorry. The little loading bar actually kind of blocks it a little bit. But plus 8 melee attack, so just gonna go up each time I assume. And then for Frenzied Assault, it would be a bigger, better buff for more melee attack and perhaps more melee damage, but probably not. And for over here, Ruinous Flesh, Twisted Flesh, so just more armor, more armor, more armor, and then an augment for lots more armor. So just something to keep out. Gorbals have this, for example, if you take a look at their stat trees. So pretty basic though. You can see over here, it's either going to be an added bonus to recruitments or army experience per turn. So that's cool to see as well, seeing that happen. And then over here for Erengrad, he's going to take this city no problem. He's just going to auto-resolve it. Alright, keep going, keep going. And so he's going to go ahead and actually establish an outpost because, like I said, this is Throg's hometown, as you can see right there from those little twin hammers behind that little head. And when he establishes this outpost, he has the option to build a certain building chain. And just talking about missions, they're pretty basic stuff. Nothing's changed with those so far. And here we have the Cave of the Rocky Throne. It has +3 chaos corruption for this area, +3 unit experience for Norse control, and Norsca and Ice Troll unit recruits faction wide. So that's awesome. And it also unlocks the recruitment of Fimir warriors and Norse controls right here just from this one building chain. So that's very nice. You can immediately start recruiting trolls and familiar warriors if you didn't already have that technology unlocked. I'm not quite sure where they fit in to all of this. So, sorry about that, yawn. Just got up. So we'll see how this fits in compared to the rest of the army chain, excuse me. And then recruitment cost of minus 20% for all Norse control, Norscan ice troll, and familiar warrior units faction wide. So immediately lets you benefit from this building like right out of the gate. If you're like, oh shit, I want a shit ton more of these troll units or familiar warriors. Well, boom, it costs less and they get +3 experience. So that's really good stuff right there. Sadly, looks like building chains still don't progress on their own. I wish CA had done that. Like you have something grows and it looks more magnificent and better, bigger as it goes on towards tier 5. But seems to be that they still haven't done that. But there is a mod for that, so that's kind of cool. I do enjoy that mod. So progressive icons or whatever it's called. Right here, this is important. So this is for the Marauder Chieftain, so your generic lord, and he's gonna go over these skills pretty soon. So right here, Indulger of the Exotic, so that's very Slaanesh sounding. And then right here, Drinker of Blood, uh, Kron's Wrath, and Fury of the Hound, so Hound, Corn, and then it has Serpent for Slaanesh, Eagle for Tzeentch, Crow for Nurgle. So as you can see, this one's focused on having lots of melee attack and armor piercing damage. So as you can see, +15 armor piercing damage, +9 attack, better charge, and this provides the Berserker trait right here if you spend one skill on it, one skill point on this. So, the +22% physical resistance, +16 leader sit, and then the +16 melee attack after a while. So, very good stuff coming out of that. And you can see over here, more weapon damage, more armor, and this actually provides regeneration. Right here, higher speed, so it's probably going to go 3, 9, and like 16% extra speed. Right here, better melee defense, so Tzeentch focusing on speed and defense. What is this? Slaanesh focusing on more health and higher leadership, and then Nurgle just focusing on doing lots of damage while being really tanky. So, kind of like Khorne, but Khorne just going all out damage, whereas Nurgle gives you extra weapon strength, armor, and regeneration. So I feel like this is definitely going to be one of the stronger skill trees, but that's just for me personally. I like having a tanky lord that's able to do lots of damage. I always try and deck out my own lords first before anybody else. So that's something to see. I want to see what this Sorcery of the Eagle does because I can't quite remember. I'm going to highlight it for a second. And also enables poison attacks on your lords too, so that's just going to make him absolutely stupid. Anybody trying to fight him when you're going in this skill tree, that's just going to be a bad time. So that's very good stuff. Right here, Sorcery of the Eagle enables magical attacks, so being able to deal with those ethereal units if you come up against like the Clan Engrund for the dwarves or vampire counts trying to field like Hex Wraiths or Cairn Wraiths against you, and gives you the Fireball spell too. So that's pretty cool. But Fireball on a Marauder Chieftain sounds kind of cool, but probably wouldn't be useful until he gets that War Mammoth. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, I did just get up, so fortunately I'm a little bit tired still. Because as everybody knows, the fireball spell, if you have that downward angle, so you can hit the person and then get the explosion to hit them as well, that's what you really want. Whereas if you're on a Norscan warhorse, it'd probably just hit them and just phase right through them and not do that explosion damage, which is the real killer when it comes to fireball. So we'll see. Everybody has their own ways that they like to play. So right here, Seduction of the Serpent, +16 leadership, +27 melee defense, and a -16 leadership debuff for 10 seconds on all units around them. And then immune to psychology, passive attribute. So very, very, very cool stuff. Very good stuff. This would keep your lord in the fight for a very long time, keep them very tanky, because I don't see any other health traits or anything like that. So typical lords, how you have it is like you have that one trait, 3, 1, 3, and then 1. So here it's just 3 straight up traits, 3 straight up traits, 3 straight up traits, 3 straight up traits. And so it's going to be very focusing on how you like to play your individual lord. So very cool stuff coming out of this. And then your general stuff, just trying to boost up your army, boost up a different part of your army right here. And then just your general support skills, so 10% movement speed and all that kind of stuff. Or not movement speed, but campaign range. So he went with that 7% weapon strength right there at the top right. So, you know, he does what he wants. Good stuff for him. Gonna go ahead and skip forward just a little bit. And now we have the next most interesting item here, which is the Monster Hunter technology. So this is what you really want to see. So if you take a look right here, you can see a twin-headed dragon. I believe that this is a frostworm. So frostworm, what his name is, I'm not gonna say that. Scion of the Cold Void. Somebody can say that, but I'm not gonna. So you know, whatever. Plus 10,000 treasury. If you challenge him, not sure how this works. I'm not sure if you just click it and it's like, all right, fuck yeah, we're gonna go fight this dude right now. Or if you click challenge and then he spawns and he has an army and you hunt down that army and fight it. And if you kill him, you get the ancient frostworm scale. Looks like a magical item or whatever, and then you get 10,000 treasury. So that's a shit ton of money. And then right here, another one, a Cygor. So plus 10,000 treasury again. Giant Cygor eyeball, excuse me, not eyeball. And then it looks like another magical item. So very interesting stuff. Then right here, oh shit, no. I forgot I had to go slow for this part because he starts trying to skip through it all. Boom. So as you can see right here, Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, a Ragnarok spider. So even though it doesn't tell me up here, and it's like, oh, you have to have this following technology to see what it is, it shows you the drawing right here. So you have an Ragnarok spider and a Ragnarok queen, whichever one it is. You have a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth right here to kill. So another plus 10,000. So every time you kill one of these beasts, you get 10,000 resources, which is absolutely insane. So if he were to just challenge all three right in a row right here and able to win all three duels, he would get plus 30,000 resources, which is absolutely insane. Dragon Ogre's Great Horn. So I'm not sure what these abilities do. He doesn't actually highlight them. And then right here, he has a regular giant from the Greenskins and a forest dragon from the Wood Elves. So interesting stuff. And then right here, we have a feral mammoth because you don't see any of the stuff on top, the little fortress thing. And then you have a Terrorgeist over here for the very last option. So something from the Norskins, Greenskins, Wood Elves, vampire counts, all sorts of stuff. So very interesting to see this. Very cool. So able to get lots of powerful units from all the different races pretty much. So if you're able to get a Ragnarok Queen, a Terrorgeist, a Forest Dragon, a Mammoth, a Giant, and a Frostworm, and what else was there? A Cygor and a single army. That just sounds so stupid. Can you imagine? Because it says that you can either kill them and get that item or subjugate them and have them as a unit. So I feel like that's exactly how it's going to be. Either you kill this unit and get that item, or you just weaken it. I'm not sure how they're going to make that mechanic play out. Not sure what you have to do that, but we'll find out. So we'll find out for sure. Didn't really see anything too crazy right here. You can see the Marauders of the West, excuse me. So you can start getting, I believe it's just going to be like more money from each of these factions. Slaughtering of the Greenskins, probably going to have a more rating or more income from sacking their settlements, and even more. You know, so just 2 stages of getting more money from each of these factions. So it's just kind of something to know. So Talea, Bretonia, Dwarves, Empire, Vampire Counts, Greenskins, and then you have one with the Beasts, and then Master of the Beasts. So it said everything. So all those all the items from that book said they would be unlocked after you unlock this technology. One with the Beasts. I'm not sure what Master of Beasts does. So it'd be interesting to be able to see what the differences between these 2 skills. Maybe you have to do this one, and then maybe like something else from the book requires this one as well to be done, and it just says one at a time. Or maybe they all unlock after one with the Beast, and then Master of the Beast allows you to actually take them as a unit rather than just having an item that does something for one of your lords or heroes or something like that. But nobody knows yet. That's something to find out when the game actually releases this update, and it's going to be very exciting. This is a lot of cool stuff. So right here, they acted like they're going to show off some stuff, but they didn't. He kills Wulfric, he kills his army, takes this city, and I believe he just occupies it. So we're just going to go on from there. Oh, he just sacks it to get that money. So, you know, it is what it is. Now he's going to go straight to diplomacy. And then he's just going to go to the Norscan tribe right here. Their strength rate is 42 now. So that's unfortunate for Wulfric. Sorry, dude. Right here, immediately just going to go ahead and peace treaty them, and then do another demand and say join confederation, and immediately just boom. Now he owns all of the north, and he says Throg is king in the north, as he said in this video, and it's true. By turn 35, he owned all of the north. The Norscan faction as a whole was his, so that's it's pretty crazy. A couple destroyed settlements here and there, though. Personally, like I said, I wouldn't have destroyed any settlements in the north. I would have tried to focus on destroying settlements outside of the northern realms for Norsca to try and focus more on that economy, so you can have more raiding buildings to benefit from destroying the rest of the um, factions as a whole. So that's something that I just would do myself. Everybody can play how they want to, of course. And then, as always, releases on the 10th of next month. So that's going to be very exciting. Releases in just a couple weeks. And I cannot wait for it. So, as always, guys, if you like what you saw, go ahead and leave a like. Comment down in the comment section down below if you'd like to criticize on something to make this better for you to watch. And I will be investing in a microphone very soon. I'm just trying to find a nice one that's not too expensive. I don't want to spend like $130 on a Blue Yeti microphone or something like that. I know those are pretty good, but it's just so much money for a microphone, you know? And as always, guys, I'll catch y'all later.